You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
It's now obvious what the Chicago Bears need to do moving forward. Bears fans, after the Cleveland Browns game, I was just kind of sitting back and thinking and trying to reflect on what actually happened. We understand that the Chicago Bears blew a 10-point lead up 17-7 going into the fourth quarter, end up losing the football game by a score of 20-17. But I really was sitting back and thinking, what do the Chicago Bears actually need to get over that hump and become a true playoff contender, or at least compete within the NFC North? And I know everyone will probably have a different opinion, and I feel like this is a really good little episode to come on here real quick and kind of just discuss with you guys about what you guys think the Chicago Bears need to do to become a contender once again. Because when you really look, Bears fans, at the Chicago Bears, you look at three games, the Denver Broncos, the Detroit Lions, the first matchup, and then obviously Sunday's loss to the Cleveland Browns, where the Chicago Bears had a 98% chance to win those football games. And in each of those games, they had meltdowns. Those are 3 wins, Bears fans. So rather you guys think it's coaching, rather you think we can maybe add a couple of guys via the free agency or the NFL draft, what is it actually going to take to finally get this team to be able to compete consistently at a high level and to win these really close games, or in better words, to actually finish these close games? So that's why I wanted to come on here on this episode of Kick on the Mic really quick and just give my opinion on what I think it's actually going to take to finally get this team over the hump and actually compete not only within the NFC North, but to actually get back to the NFL playoffs as well. So you guys already know how I feel. I think the first order of business is it's kind of be like a mini mock offseason. I'm not going to go in deep detail with you guys on this episode of Kick on the Mic, but I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to come on here and kind of just talk with you guys for a little bit. The first thing I'm doing is firing offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. You guys all know how I feel about Luke Getsy. I feel like Luke Getsy has been up and down, but for the most part, Luke Getsy has been absolutely terrible. I feel like that was a terrible hiring by head coach Matt Eberflus. And I do want to let you guys know that I feel like Matt Eberflus will get one more year as the head coach of the Chicago Bears, just based on the fact that the defense is playing at a really high level. And I think that's going to be really tough for Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles to move on from. So I can understand that. But as a head coach, we all know that Matt Eberflus has a lot of work to do. But don't get me wrong, I am keeping head coach Matt Eberflus, but if he comes out next season and we start out like 0-4 or 0-6, Matt Eberflus is also gone. So you are taking that risk bringing back head coach Matt Eberflus, because once again, ever since he has taken over defensive play calling, ever since he's become the defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears, they have looked really good, right? They've been playing really good football, getting turnovers, getting consistent pressure, getting sacks. The sack numbers are up, obviously. But there is still some moments where the defense still does give up big plays, big chunk plays, right? And crucial moments. There is times where Matt Eberflus proves that his in-game decisions are not good whatsoever, which for the most part is some of the reasoning why we lose these very close games or why we have these meltdowns. But I think he does deserve the opportunity to possibly come back for one more season. But once again, if he comes back and we start out 0-4, you have to go too. So that's the first order of business. In terms of free agency, I'm going to go after a lot of edge rushers. So we have guys like Danielle Hunter, Chase Young. There's a couple of other pretty intriguing names out there. Maybe if you can find a veteran center to come in and maybe compete, I think that's what you need to do. In terms of guys I want to cut, I think you cut guys like Eddie Jackson. You cut guys like Cody Whitehair, right? Save a whole lot of money just between those two guys. I think we can save about $15 to $20 million to add on to our cap space to try to go get a guy like Danielle Hunter, to try to go get a guy like Chase Young, or most importantly, try to go get a guy like Brian Burns as well. But I think we should address the edge rusher position in free agency and maybe try to address the center position as well in free agency so we can focus on something else when we get to the NFL draft. So when we get to the NFL draft, it's very simple. There's a couple of guys that I have my eye on. Number one, has to be wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. After watching that Cleveland Browns game, after watching Robert Tonyan drop that wide open pass, that dime from quarterback Justin Fields, I'm like, you know what? Besides DJ Moore, we need some more pass catchers to help quarterback Justin Fields, or if you guys want to get rid of quarterback Justin Fields in the scenario, to help the quarterback of your choosing. We need some more pass catchers. We can't have Mr. Butterfinger Robert Tonyan coming in here for Justin Fields or the quarterback of your choosing, dropping dimes like that. So Marvin Harrison Jr. is high on my list for obvious reasons. If you guys want to hear my reasonings, go to past videos where I talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. 6'4", 205 pounds, master separator. To me, I hate using the term generational, but he is pretty close to that. He's an outstanding player. He would pair perfectly with DJ Moore. You have DJ Moore. You got a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. You still have Tyler Scott. Let's say you maybe re-sign Darnell Mooney. Who knows? But I think this would be the perfect pick for the Chicago Bears, just to add a little bit more talent on the outside for whoever is throwing the football. Because once again, after watching Robert Tonyan drop that pass, that hurt me, Bears fans. That was worse than watching the double doink that Cody Parkey delivered us in the loss to the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2018. It was that bad. So we need some more pass catchers. Marvin Harrison Jr. would be the perfect person to do that. Number 2 on my list, we have to get some more offensive line help. I love Braxton Jones. I feel like he has been really good for the Chicago Bears, especially considering that he was a 5th round pick. But once again, I still think we can upgrade at that position. And guys like Olufushanu, Joe Alt, I don't matter who it is, whoever is there, take them. Obviously, Olufushanu is 6'4", I believe 300 plus pounds. Then you have a guy like Joe Alt that's 6'8", 280 something pounds, but he's still a massive athlete. They're both very athletic. They both fit what Ryan Poles is looking for in their offensive line. I don't care who is there, Bears fans, but we desperately need offensive line help, because once again, when you look at the Cleveland Browns game, it was a major test for the Chicago Bears offensive line. And obviously Tevin Jenkins went down, but this Cleveland Browns defensive line absolutely torched the Chicago Bears offensive line. Justin Fields was unable to step up in the pocket. They were in Justin Fields' ass all day long. It was a rough day, not only for our offensive line, but our running backs as well, pass blocking to try to keep Justin Fields upright. It wasn't the fact that they sacked Justin Fields a lot. They only sacked Justin Fields 3 times. It was the fact that Justin Fields had no time to even breathe. He had no time to even think. So yes, Bears fans, we need a whole lot of help on the offensive line. I don't care who is there. Joe Alt, Olufushanu, each of those guys will be day 1 starters. I think they would be pretty much huge upgrades comparison to Braxton Jones. And this is not even me hating on Braxton Jones. I just think Olufushanu and Joe Alt could possibly have a higher ceiling than a guy like Braxton Jones. Lastly, we need to upgrade at the center position. I did say that we could possibly bring in a center via free agency, but that shouldn't stop Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears to double down and address it in the NFL draft as well. One guy that I'm really keeping my eye on is Cedric Van Pran, the center from Georgia. I think this would be a perfect person to come in. I'm not saying he's going to be a day 1 starter, which is why you may want to address, maybe bring a veteran in that can start right away. You groom a guy like Cedric Van Pran, and I think this would be a very good player in the near future for the Chicago Bears. But once again, we have to address the center position. You cannot go into next season with Lucas Patrick as your starting center. Once again, Lucas Patrick was looking decent these last couple of weeks until we played a very good defensive line in the Cleveland Browns. Everyone got exposed in that loss against the Cleveland Browns, because once again, the Cleveland Browns have a very good defense. Once again, the Cleveland Browns have the number 1 ranked defense in the National Football League. So we were fooled. We thought the Bears offensive line was looking good. And once again, I know Tevin Jenkins went down, but still, you still have Braxton Jones, you still have Lucas Patrick, you still have Darnell Wright, you still had Nate Davis. Everyone got exposed against that very good Cleveland Browns defensive line. And once again, the Cleveland Browns defensive line does that to a lot of NFL offenses. But it told me, Keek, we need to go out this offseason and complete this offensive line. Go out and get a new center. Go out and get an offensive tackle. And go out and get a brand new shiny weapon in Marvin Harrison Jr. go in free agency and add one more edge rusher to pair with Montez Sweat, because we all know that Montez Sweat is an absolute dog. And I think that's exactly what the Chicago Bears need to do to become relevant again, to actually win the NFC North, to actually get back to the NFL playoffs. And to me, it is that simple, the things that I just listed. So I'm not sure if you guys agree with me. Go ahead and comment down below in the comment section and interact with me. Let me know what you would do. What is it going to take for the Chicago Bears to win these close games, to finish these football games, to become a really good football team once again, to win the NFC North, to get back to the NFL playoffs? Let me know down below in the comment section. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. Other than that, as always, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. Make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears that you know. But other than that, be back for our all new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys. And as always, bear down.
You've been listening to Geek on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.